Welcome to our posts. Today we will see stories of r/malicious compliance. Why did they get in for free? Let me fix that. I used to work as a bouncer/doorman at a bar that charged a $2 cover on weekend nights. Everyone paid to get in, with only one exception: party buses. We had an agreement with the different party bus operators that if they brought their groups to our bar they would get in for free. Lively crowds are good for business. So one night I'm working and a guy comes in with his girlfriend and I tell him it's $2 a head. He grumbles about it and I give him the same line I tell anyone who complains: a $2 cover is the cheapest thing you will buy here tonight. If you can't afford it you might want to go somewhere else. He doesn't want to look cheap in front of his lady, so of course he pays. A couple minutes later he's back saying he just talked to some people who didn't have to pay, and wants to know why he got singled out. I tell him about the party bus rule and say those people must have come in on a bus. He motions towards some people sitting with his girlfriend and tells me, "You didn't charge my friends, and they didn't come on a bus." I recognized the people, and when they came in I asked them if they were from the bus, and they had said yes. So they lied to me. It happens, and normally I wouldn't worry about it. I tell him, "Well, it sounds like I made a mistake, I guess it's their lucky night." That's my hint to him that he should let it go. That's not good enough for him. He gets louder and keeps demanding I refund his $4 to keep things fair. I've had it with him. I tell him, "You're right. It's not fair. Let me fix it for you." He smirks because he thinks he's getting a refund, but he doesn't realize all I'm giving is some sweet malicious compliance. His smirk disappeared when I stepped away from the cash drawer and walked over to where his friends were sitting. In my most polite voice I said, "Hey, sorry to bother you guys, but there's a $2 cover tonight and your friend here told me you didn't pay. I must have misheard you when I asked if you were with the party bus, but I need to collect the cover from you now." The looks of betrayal they gave him were priceless. I collected their covers, smiled, and loudly thanked him for being so honest. Then I walked back to my post and watched them proceed to rip him a new one. Next story. Karen told me to hang up, so I did. So I work for a large electronics company doing sales over the phone. We get a lot of calls daily and take credit card details to place orders, as well as place finance orders. Since fraud is such a big deal, our company were taught that only the account holder for the CC or finance account can place an order. Cue Karen calling to place an order for finance, go through everything, get her name/address/number, and payment details. Just before I place the order, she goes, "Oh, the card's in my dad's name, that's fine, right?" I tell her no, her dad needs to place the order as he's the account holder. We're arguing for about 5 minutes how she's his daughter and I need to finalize this order now. I tell her, "I'm sorry, but I can't do that, as I've mentioned the account holder needs to place the order." She started cussing me out, calls me a stupid effing idiot and that I know nothing, and demands I place the order. I've had enough at this point. Since she started swearing and getting aggressive, I said, "I'm sorry, but if you continue to speak to me in such a manner I will terminate this call." Customer says, "Well, terminate it then." So I did with a "Okay then, thank you for calling, have a nice day." I heard her go, "No wait," as I hung up on her. God, that felt good. Next story. Can I speak to your manager? A few years ago, I worked as a cashier at a fast food restaurant. I don't eat fast food, so I don't know how it is with other places, but with this establishment, nothing was free. "You want sauce with your tacos? That's 50 cents, please. Substitute your sour cream with guacamole? Sorry, you have to pay for that. You want ranch with your salad? That'll be extra." All of these prices were very prominently displayed on a giant menu in the middle of the lobby, by the way. Now, I was paid minimum wage. I, nor any of the other cashiers, could not give a damn about all that. It also made the prices ridiculous, as a lot of customers naturally wanted add-ons. So, usually, we wouldn't charge for most of those things, but we could only get away with that when our manager was not in the front, as she was the strict type. Yell at you in front of the customers for giving away a free sauce type. On a slow day, an older woman walked in and ordered a salad. By the time it got to the register, she'd loaded it with a bunch of extras. To be completely honest, there was no rhyme or reason to what I chose to charge people for. It really depended on my mood. Her salad was pretty accessorized, so I felt like I had to charge for something, but I was having a good day, so I just rang her up for the salad and extra guacamole, and that's all. It was something like $12.50. She immediately started to complain about the price. I explained to her that it was $11.50 for the salad and $1 for the guac. That's ridiculous. It shouldn't cost that much just for a salad. Even $11 is way too much. I'm sorry, ma'am, but that's the price that's on the menu. Why did you raise the price so high? A salad should not cost that much. I tried to explain that I was only a cashier and did not, in fact, control the menus, but she would have none of it and only grew increasingly rude. Then, she dropped the classic, dreaded line. "Can I speak to your manager?" I hesitated, looked her in the eye, and said, "You don't want to do that." "No, get your manager. Right now." So I went to the back and told my manager that there was a customer who wanted to speak with her. She came to the register with me, looked at the salad, looked at what I rang up, and immediately started going off about how I didn't add the salsa, the chips, the house dressing. I was used to this, so I just stood there and stared at the customer as my manager screamed at me. The customer stared back, dumbfounded, as my manager took over the register, corrected the order, and left without acknowledging her at all. The salad came out to be around $16.50. The woman paid and left without another word. Next story. They want us to pay the tax on our hotels. We started checking out over 30 days. So this has multiple layers. Follow me on this journey. So I work for a defense contractor, it's one of the big three. We are based in Guam, but in Florida for training until the summer. We are all in hotels, and here we are a few months into our trip, and all of a sudden the person doing our expense reports keeps kicking them back. Now we are incurring late fees, which we all refuse to pay. She is saying that after 30 days we are responsible for the tax on the rooms, which is $13 a day, almost $400 a month. In our contract, the company has stated they will pay for a trip to our home of record once a month, which none of us have been doing because we have been so busy. Here comes the malicious compliance. Now we are all scheduling trips home each month to break up the 30 days so we don't pay the tax on the hotel, while the company is now paying for flights to our homes of record. One guy is from Guam and his tickets are almost $2,000 for round trip. So now it's costing them another $700 to $2,000 for flights each month. In another instance years ago, coming home from Japan, my flight had an 8-hour layover in Tokyo. I found a flight that was shorter but cost $200 more. They rejected it because it wasn't the lowest fare available. I'm paid doorstep to doorstep when I travel, meaning I'm on the clock from when I leave my house until I get to my hotel at my final destination. Many of these travel days end up being around 23 hours. I thought the company would be cool with me saving them 8 hours of me on the clock, but nope. Okay then, 13 hours of double time at $100 in HR, so $1,300 over a $200 price difference. I'll take all that money. The people who write these contracts really don't think crap through. Next story. Time tracking salaried workers is ridiculous. My company decided to install time tracking software on everything a few years ago, but didn't make a big deal out of it. When asked, management said to not worry about it and keep doing your normal workday. Recently, time worked has become a bigger issue. HR is coming down hard on everyone I know. According to them, we are only working 50% or less of our required hours. This didn't make any sense, because the work is still getting done, and everyone is still online all day. Because of time being a bigger issue, I started tracking my time very carefully. I was logging over 9.5 hours of work a day, but only getting credit for maybe half that. Cue malicious compliance. I tested a bunch of different scenarios and learned what is tracked and what isn't. Scheduled meetings are always tracked. So now I am in a meeting every minute of my normal workday. And once I hit the 8-hour mark, no matter what I am doing, I drop it and quit for the day. This has started to affect how much is being done in total on a weekly basis. But I am finished with working for free. Next story. Can't get paid overtime? Don't call us outside of work hours. Edit. I'm sorry I didn't mention English is not my first language and that my grammar is bad. Also need to add my last workplace is a home health agency where we coordinate with nurses and therapists on field when visiting patients. Dawn is Director of Nursing, Dawn is Alternate Director of Nursing and Admin is Administrator. For the longest time working at the previous home health, I'd noticed some co-workers would work couple of minutes past end of the shift. From my understanding, this was to prevent any field agents contacting whoever is on call until the next day. Now quick backstory, the person on call is the boss, aka owner, Dawn, admin, etc. One day, we had a conference meeting that the boss wasn't happy some of us were working past work hours and makes a statement to clock out exactly at the time we close for the day. Of course that meant she refuses paying us overtime if we're working over 8 hours. So since our work hours are from Monday to Friday 8 hours each day, we have to make the best of it being productive within those hours. Why emphasis about the days and hours, you ask? Since the calls have been transferred to on-call, which is the boss, this also means she's responsible taking calls until office opens. You'd think she'd know the basic knowledge what to say or instruct when someone calls. Wrong. She'd basically call one of us late at night to assist her with any issue, and it usually takes 1 to 2 hours tops to finish assisting the issue. Here's the malicious compliance. One day, half of the co-workers were on vacation and were understaffed. We finished work for the day and transferred calls to the boss. At this time, I wasn't feeling so good and I wanted to rest for remainder of the evening. It wasn't even 8 p.m. and I received a call from my boss. Me, hello, ma'am? Boss, oh good. I'm able to reach you on time. Me, okay. What's wrong? Boss, I need you to call this patient and... Me, I'm sorry. I cannot do that at this time. I will follow up in the morning. Boss, no. This needs to be done now. Me, I understand, ma'am. But I cannot work outside hours as you officially said. I will follow up on this patient in the morning. Boss, I did not pay you to be stuck up. Now help me or you won't work for me anymore. Me, but don't you remember what you told us? Because we cannot work overtime and it's past work hours, we cannot assist. This issue with the patient will be done soon as I come into the office tomorrow. Hangs up. The next day, I come into the office and the Dawn arrives in time asking what happened last night. I explained to her the scenario and she took my side. We had a 3-way call with the boss and the Dawn gave her a long lecture how she told everyone we are not to be bothered after work hours even when she told us we cannot work overtime. The shivers I can hear from her side of the call belittle her. After that, we were allowed to work extra 15 minutes with extra pay past work hour to complete whatever needs to be done. She slowly stopped contacting us late at night but would bug the Dawn instead. And the issue she wanted me to assist that time with the patient. The patient couldn't find their pillbox and end up finding it later in the morning. So what the actual fudge? I hope you guys like this video. If you did, make sure like, comment, share and subscribe the channel or posts.